Look
How
at
are you?
that.
Look at that.
It's the miracle of live. What is it called? Live internet? What is this?
Live streaming, right? Live stream, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, welcome aboard, everybody, to the live streaming of EMP Review, Entrepreneur Meal Plan Review. It is your host, Chauncey, joined by Chef, Entrepreneur Whisperer, Brandy. Hey, Brandy.
Hey, how are you, Chauncey?
I'm doing well. And off cam, we are always joined by the amazing EMP Drea. So if you're joining us wherever you are, check out those comments, talk to us there. We will respond, ask questions as we go through, and we'll have a good time in today's little episode. Tell us, Brandy, about EMP membership very quickly because it is KALEeuary.
Oh, please. It's the last week. Be a little more excited, okay? The last week, all right? And next month is going to be so much fun, so you'll be excited about that.
Well, it's already better. I know what's coming up next month. It's already better.
Cool, guys. So Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a community for entrepreneurs looking for a solution to do life and business well. Now, we spend so much time building our legacies, building our businesses, but we don't always take time to step away and build and feed ourselves. Entrepreneur Meal Plan is the place that reminds you to do that using plant-based foods to power your profits and your productivity. Now, what does that mean in layman's terms, right? Power your profit and productivity with plants. That's a cute little tag. But in real life, what that means is that Entrepreneur Meal Plan provides you with meal plans, recipes, shopping lists. In addition to that, there's a community of other people just like you to help you along the journey. In addition to that, there are resources to help you build your business depending on every stage. I'm just starting my company, I am working my company by myself, or I'm ready to grow my company. And access to these exciting weekly reviews with Chauncey, Drea, and the rest of the EMP community. So there you have it. Now, you would think that all of that stuff would cost a crap ton of money, but guess what? Because we want to make sure as many entrepreneurs as possible can take advantage of this community, it's only $30.23 per quarter. That's it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Me too.
Yep. So, and what you'll get is things like KALEeuary.
Yeah. Yeah. AMC, he says it. But he admitted last week that the journey that we've gone on over the last 4 weeks has opened him up to, the Kale train.
I did not say that. You're making things up. Well, I don't dislike kale. I like to have fun, like acting like I don't like it. But I don't like it. See, that's the thing. I don't like it. But if it's well prepared, I will eat it. I have no problem eating kale. Hey, Christine, how are you? We see you in here. So it's KALEeuary, Brandy. Today, what are we doing with Kale? This is the final Kale episode.
It is the final Kale episode, and we're going to end KALEeuary with a soup. It seems like, what are we doing with a soup? Kale soup. But I figured it would be fun. Like, soup is a nice thing to have in your arsenal as an entrepreneur because it's something that can be made in advance and then eaten throughout the week. So I felt like a soup is a nice way to end this journey with kale. And it gives us an opportunity to talk about the roasting techniques and like how to just kind of build a really fast soup in like 30 minutes or less.
Oh, very good. Yeah, so you could do this for the week, like you like to say, or for me for the day, and that would work really well.
Right, because you eat like every, yeah.
Yeah.
You eat a lot of it.
So this is creamy curry kale soup, which sounds really good to me. So Brandy, go get set up. And while Brandy's doing that, you'll be entertained by this little ad, everybody. Here it comes. All right, Brandy, we'll see you on the flip side.
All righty, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so we are going to make kale soup. So I'm gonna tell you what I did while we were prepping for this was I roasted my vegetables, right? So the reason roasting is the technique that I decided to go with in this situation was because it's gonna help us to get some flavors pretty quickly into this dish when we have limited time. So I use parchment paper because this is an oil-free roast. I'm using a piece of cauliflower. There's 2 carrots. I roasted 2 stalks of celery, but I may only use one. I'm going to taste it and see what I need. An onion and a roasted red pepper. I literally just sprinkled curry powder on them and put them into the oven. And now I'm going to take these vegetables and put them into the blender. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit through why I decided to put this family of vegetables together for a creamy kale soup. So a lot of times when we're thinking about creamy, we think of some type of fattiness, right? Usually it's like a milk or some type of cream that kind of creams it up. But that's what this good old friend right here, cauliflower, is going to do in this particular recipe. Now, the sweetness that comes into a curry, usually from coconut, sometimes even added sugar or just really well cooked sauteed onions, is going to be from the carrots and this roasted red pepper. The celery's gonna give us our note of salt, and the onion's gonna give us our nice savory and sweet note because roasted onions kind of have that ability. So I'm gonna take these, put them into the blender, and then I am going to blend them down. So you just see literally just putting these into the blender. Now I remember when I first started oil-free roasting. I didn't think it was necessarily going to work, but it always works. It works best, I have to say, on parchment if you don't have that oil. What do you call it? That what is it called? The non-stick foil that I always rave about by Reynolds in the yellow and blue box, right? So that I'm gonna just do one to start. This is the celery. I'm gonna cut this cauliflower into 2 just so it fits a little easier into my blender. And it smells so nice and yummy. And I'm gonna add some good old broth. My favorite broth, when it moves out the way so you see it, is this unsalted vegetable stock. Technically it's a stock, not a broth, but no salt added. Really love this brand. Kitchen basics, pretty easily accessible. So I'm gonna put in, it's probably about 2 or so cups of broth, and I'm gonna put it on the blender. I'm gonna mute out for 1 second just so you do not have to be disturbed by the sound. All right, so I am back. Let's show you the soup. I left a little texture in it because I don't want it to be super like non-textural because of the type of soup. But literally, that's just the veggies, roasted veggies, blended down. I tasted it. I don't need that other piece of celery. I'm pretty cool with where it is right now. So what I'm gonna do is put this in a pot behind me, just so it stays warm. And I'm gonna chop up some kale to go into this soup. And the kale's gonna just literally cook down while we're having our conversation, and then I will come back and we will see a bowl of this stuff. So this is just some kale washed. It's going to take probably about 4 stalks of it. And for me, I just peel the kale off the stalk. You can eat the stalk. The stalk has a ton of benefits. However, I feel if you leave it in while you're cooking it, it messes up the like consistency. So it's like you're chewing a lot, and that's kind of annoying. So what I like to do is remove the leaves from the stalk, right? Remove the leaves from the stalk, cut these up into some pretty cool small pieces, just so they can break down in that soup mixture that we have going in the back. And I'm also going to do the same thing for these. So I don't want to throw these away. Now, if you wanted to, you could save these in like your bag and throw them in like your smoothie, because they have a lot of nutrients and fiber. So just like throwing them away doesn't suck, like kind of sucks. But you can also just cut them up small and then throw them into a dish. And that makes them a lot more palatable, and you don't lose all of that yummy nutrition that you can get from the stalks of all greens. I mean, you can do this with collard green stalks. You can do this with kale green stalks. And fun fact, you could also use the stalks of greens if you have a teething child. Frozen kale stalks are really, like, children who are teething love these things. So double duty for people, for the mamapreneurs out there. Just a little tip. So I'm just throwing this kale and these kale stalks into the soup mixture in the back. I'm going to stir it up just to integrate everything together. I'll bring it over so you see. And then I'm going to let it literally just cook down in this. I'm going to cover it so some of the moisture from the kale will come into this soup and break down. And at the end, I'll show you the finished dish. So I'm going to head back over in a second, and I will see you guys soon.
All right, now that soup is cooking down with all that kale in it.
Yes, indeed.
So everyone, as we have this discussion, if you have questions, comments, let us know now and we will talk about them as they come in. But Brandy, my first question to you is, you mentioned the nonstick foil. You can use that instead of the parchment paper?
Yes, you can. And it's very specific nonstick foil when you're doing oil-free cooking. The Reynolds, that's the brand. I don't know if there's any other brand out there that's made one, but the one that I can stand behind is the Reynolds brand with the yellow and blue box. That box is nonstick. Yeah, that is
exactly
very effective.
Yep. Reynolds nonstick. You know, I should have stock.
I was gonna say we totally should invest in that. We need to see if they'll sponsor EMP, because we we tote them a lot in our materials.
And now I use it every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but what about this, Brandy? Like, if you are thinking, should I have nonstick foil or should I have the parchment paper? Is there an argument for one over the other? Is there a more cost-effective one?
Parchment paper is definitely more cost effective, hands down. One over the other. I want to say no. If you're dealing with oil free cooking, I'm going to say no. Maybe if you're making cookies, you might get a browner bottom with a foil versus the parchment without the top also being super cooked. But that's the only thing that I would think about. Is like maybe like it would be like making cookies. That would be probably the reason why you would use foil over parchment or vice versa, depending on how you want your cookies to end up.
Interesting. Yeah. I just don't like parchment, to be honest. See, now we're getting, it's just a mess.
What do you mean it's a mess?
It's paper. It's all over the place. Like, foil.
Oh,
Exactly. Foil, you can just, it forms really nicely. Parchment is all over the place in the oven.
I guess so. Listen, I have a trick. I have a hack. I mean, it's very entrepreneur meal planning and just busy person hack. But take the piece of parchment paper that you want, measure it out on your cookie sheet, and then ball it up, literally, so it doesn't roll all over the place. You ball it up, and then it provides you this stable place where it just lays out like foil does. It's not going to form to the pan, but you're not going to have to deal with it like rolling and cutting it to the pan shape. So that's my super lazy or efficient, depending on how you want to look at it, parchment paper hack.
I like efficient. Now, a question from Christine, which is a question I have too. So let's put it up here.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you use potatoes?
because I only had these Japanese yams, and I plan on using Japanese yams for lunch tomorrow. But potatoes would have been a great addition to this all the way around. It would have given a gumminess if we wanted that, or we could have just roasted them in chunks and kind of separate. Like I probably would have roasted them, like diced them up, roasted them on the same sheet, but not blended them in, and I would have put them into the soup so that it gives it like some extra texture.
That sounds good. A hack from me, if you are really lazy, as Brandy likes to say, or efficient, you can buy some frozen hash browns. Now, you can get them where it's the only ingredient is potatoes, and just roast them. Then you don't have to do all the work, and just don't go all the way until they get crispy. And then you could do whatever you're saying, Brady. It's already done. You don't have to dice or chop or anything like that.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's a good. I love using frozen food to help make the process easier.
Yeah, but just make sure the only ingredient is potatoes.
Yes.
How can you determine the correct amount of vegetable to roast, Brandy? Like, because you had a whole pan of it, but is there a particular volume of food we're looking for?
So for me, like the volume that we saw today would probably yield me like 3 servings of soup. So I took 1 large pepper, 1 medium onion, 1 stalk of celery, half of a cauliflower, and 3 medium carrots. And I think I've just done this enough that I kind of like can like look at kind of the sizes and kind of see, and also depending on what flavor profile you want to bring to the top, right? So if you want more like of that salty note, we would have probably put in like more celery. If you want less of it, you put in less celery. If you want more sweet, you would put in more carrots. So that's kind of the thing. But the base for me is usually 1 onion, 3 carrots, 2 celery. Like as far as the base of the flavor profile, and then the other stuff you kind of just figure it out based off of what you're putting in. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So remember, everybody, if you have questions, comments, let us know in the chat wherever you are. Mm-hmm. And now, moving forward from that, what I did notice, Brandy, was almost like it filled your blender. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's a way to think of it too.
Mm-hmm. That's a way.
And then you mentioned also that you should have some texture in the soup. Why did you want some texture in the soup? What's the thought process behind that?
I just like texture. Like had I had I don't know, had some more time today, I probably would have roasted some chickpeas to throw on top of the soup to go with the kale, because I just personally like texture in soups. There's some people who like a soup, I think like a super smooth velvety soup, that's cool, like a butternut squash soup, great. But even butternut squash soup, I want a nut, I want a pumpkin seed, I want something else in it. So that's my own personal requirement for texture. Some people are cool just, having broth.
Yeah, why not if it's good?
Yeah, if it's good. But I mean, you're not gonna get full off of broth.
Okay. Now I have one more question, Brandy. Now, is the soup going to be ready? Is it almost ready now?
Yeah, I hear it bubbling. I think it might be time for me to check it out.
Okay, so let's answer this question. Then maybe we'll do this, Brandy. Let's wrap up and then we'll end with the soup.
Okay, sounds good.
So my question is about those stalks from the kale.
Mm-hmm.
Could you roast them as well? Could you just put them in with the rest of the roasting veggies?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I've never roasted them, but I can't see why that wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what you did was what I was thinking. I was like, chop it up. But then I was like, maybe we could roast it, because I thought of asparagus in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see what I'll do with the rest. Maybe I'll roast the rest of my kale stalks and make a whole little post about it, so then you can see how that theory goes.
Or could you do this for me, Chef?
Yeah.
Could you treat them like asparagus? Like just get some stalks and treat them like asparagus and see what happens.
Okay,
that would be interesting.
I agree. That's what I was going to go to. So yes, I like that idea. All right.
Because asparagus is so expensive. I know. I can't.
And it's not in season that long either.
Yeah. Now here's a question for you, Brandy, from Christine. Another one.
Mm-hmm.
Juicer. Sorry.
Juicer. I have to get back to you offline on that one, Christine, and I'll share that with everyone. There's actually one I've been looking at that I like. And a reason I like it is because you can also make banana ice cream in it. So that makes me really exciting. I'm really excited. I'm not even a big banana ice cream fan, but the fact that you can put like frozen fruit in it and it comes out as sorbet kind of gets me excited.
So, you don't like bananas. Now, see, you're trying to hide behind that. Like you try to get on me. You don't like bananas. And here's another part of it from Christine. Cold press, the nutrients.
So I do know, as far as juices are concerned, that cold press is the goal. We want to try to get something that you can cold press your juices with. And my personal requirement for a juicer is that it's easy to clean. So like that's what I want to give you the recommendation of. It is a cold press one. And it's easy to clean, because for me, that's why juicing does not work for me, because the time that it takes to adequately clean a juicer, that does not make removing that pulp like just simple to access. It's a pain. Like you need to hire somebody to clean your juicer. It's really a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't even want to clean a blender. So,
yeah.
Cleaning a juicer. The blender trick, you just put a little bit of soapy water.
Oh yeah, and then just blend it, right. I thought you were going to talk about the blender trick to juicing if you don't have a juicer, which was what I what I did when I was doing this. Everybody was on this the celery juicing craze for a while. And so I was like, let me give it a try. I don't know what it's all about, so let me do it. So I would put my celery into the blender, right, blend it down as much as I possibly could, and then run it through like cheesecloth, and so it literally created like the juice effect where the pulp ended up in the cheesecloth and then the juice kind of came out, and then it's like I'll call it the poor man juicer. That's what we'll call it.
Love it. Or if you have like one of those wire baskets, the strainers.
Yes, with the small holes, that's perfect too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I make my oat milk, that recipe you gave me,
that's what
dump it right out of the blender through that.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Nice.
Oh, that was interesting. Okay, so Brandy, let's wrap this thing up. Remember, everybody, you are always welcome to join us at Entrepreneur Meal Plan. You have weekly reviews with me, with Brandy, with EMP Drea off cam. We do it every Wednesday. You will get support as a community that Brandy likes to talk about of entrepreneurs in different ways, supporting your business, supporting yourself first and foremost, so you can have a business. Remember that. You talked about a mamapreneur. I'm learning new words today. Are there dadpreneurs too? Are there childpreneurs?
I think the childpreneurs are called kidpreneurs, and
Ah,
kidpreneurs, dadpreneurs, mompreneurs, and solopreneurs. If you don't know that one,
oh, solopreneurs. What about petpreneurs?
petpreneurs. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure someone's
Some
branded
pets
it.
have their own
They
YouTube
have it
channels.
right, but are they incorporated officially, or is there?
They might be. They might. Look, don't put it past these people, and you know it. You know it.
I don't know.
So whatever preneur you are, this community welcomes you, and we support you in multiple ways, not only with the food, but also, of course, with growing your business. So it's all about growth, right, Brandy? You gave us 3 P's. Was it plants, productivity, and profits?
Yes,
See, I was listening.
you were. Look at that.
So, you know. So the next time Brandy will be back is next Wednesday, February 3rd. We'll start at 4:30 Eastern time, and it is no longer going to be KALEUary.
No,
What are we doing?
we're doing.
What's the main thing there?
Let's be sweet. Potatoes for the month of love, and also February is the month of heart health too. So sweet potatoes are good for that as well. So we're going to dive deep into different ways that we can use sweet potatoes other than candied sweets or whipped mashed sweet potatoes.
Excellent. So Brandy, go back over there and finish this soup, and then we'll wrap up. And I'll see you next time, everyone.
Yes,
I'm leaving.
Later, Chuck.
All right.
All right, guys. So here is the finished soup. As you can see, there's a little more liquid in here because of the water that came from the kale that kind of broke down. I finished it with some what is this? Some chopped scallions, because I always have those kind of growing in the back. It's the only thing I've managed to successfully grow this year. And then I'm just sprinkling some extra curry powder on it because it's curry soup. So there you have it. And thanks again for joining us with the EMP review. Remember to thank yourself for walking away from your business and taking some time to feed yourself well. Until next week.